And welcome back to the show. It's Mark Payne. Audrey Wilson is in with Susan and I today, co-hosting from Conestoga Mall. Nice to have you here.
Very nice to be here.
You know, the world of wrestling is fascinating, especially because I know I'd be lousy at it. But this next individual is joining us to talk about a great event that's going to be happening down in Brantford, and it will be a fundraising event, too, for the food bank. Please welcome to the show, with the giant belt on today, we have Outlaw Scott Chase. Thank you, sir, for popping by today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Nice to see you. Now, explain to me what this title is on the belt, if you will.
This here is the GLCW Ontario Championship.
Turn her up here so we can see. Go ahead, hold on to that.
All right.
The shine doesn't kill us there.
There we go.
And how did you get this? Is this yours?
Yes, this is mine. I defeated a wrestler by the name of Big Ticket Reggie Marley in Brantford, Ontario for the title, and I've held it ever since.
Wow, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Not really, he's a pushover.
How
But
big
the
is
point
he?
is, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, I think the last time
That's
I was
not
on...
a call out to action. Yeah.
I think the last time I was on here, I think you were going to go by the wrestling name White Chocolate if I was.
White Chocolate
White
was...
chocolate.
I was going to reprise my
Wow.
former stripper name, but nonetheless, that never came to be. The world of wrestling, fascinating.
Fantastic.
You ever followed
Wow.
wrestling, Audrey?
I haven't. I had 3 big brothers. We wrestled a lot. I could try to take in an arm wrestle, but maybe I could take you in an arm wrestle.
Yeah. Well,
That's the only wrestling I do.
An insult for those watching at home for Audrey. Great. We'll see if we're friends by the end of the show.
We'll see.
Give me a sense of, if somebody grows up and they think, you know what, I'm watching wrestling and I want to do this. There's a school, isn't there, in Cambridge? Is there one in Brantford as well?
There's one in Cambridge. Yes, the best school that I would recommend right now is a school out of Toronto. It's called Squared Circle Wrestling, and that's Rob Fiego trains that. And there's a school out of Windsor. Scott D'Amore trains wrestlers out of there. And I would say those are probably the 2 most credible wrestling schools in Ontario right now.
Now, where did you take your training?
I took my training at a wrestling school called the Slam Factory with a wrestler named Pete Rock, who trained in Puerto Rico.
So what
Wow.
are, I mean, what are parents like when a child says, you know what, I want to fight for a living. I want to, you know, I can only imagine that's sort of hard, and I want to go to the Slam Factory. Got my admission form.
Yeah.
U of W or the Slam Factory?
Yep.
Yeah, you know, how do you kind of overcome that hurdle?
Well, I was actually, I was in Mohawk College at the time, taking law and security. I was going to try to be a police officer. And then I met a friend who knew of Pete and the school that he was training at. And when I approached my parents with it, first thing they thought was that I was absolutely crazy. You know, I would never make it or whatever. And
were you a big guy? Were you a big kid?
Yeah, I was actually, you know, I've always been around the 220, 250 mark. So, yeah, and absolutely. And but that was part of my first fear, was that I was a little too small. But then getting into it, I realized that, you know, I had a couple pounds and I'd be good to go. Wow. I've been doing it for 7 years now. So.
You must have quite the training schedule.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We can learn from him.
Can you
Food, nutrition.
Can you be a wrestler and make a living? I mean, you got to have another occupation, right? I mean, can you make a living at this level in Ontario?
Now I can, yes. At first, when you first started out, I would definitely wouldn't quit your day job at first. But now, after doing it for a few years and making a name for myself, yeah, I'm actually make.
So it's like a lot of careers. Until you get a name, it's, you know, your PB&J time.
Exactly.
And you just kind of step along there.
Canned tuna.
Maybe give us a sense, and I've watched a few specials sort of on wrestling too, maybe a few of the misnomers that people may not know. And I'll, for instance, bring up one, the fact that people think, oh, it's all staged to the point where it doesn't hurt.
Oh, geez.
And I don't believe that. I mean,
No.
talk to that, the fact that it's all so well rehearsed, much like you have a fight sequence in a movie,
No,
and the actors
absolutely
aren't
not.
getting hurt. This is different, though, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You know, if I go down and do a wrestling show in the States, per se, like I go down to North Carolina and wrestle, I've never met those people before. You know what I mean? Like the person that I wrestle, usually I've never wrestled them before. And so there's no time to do any choreographing or anything like that. It's pretty much all improvisation, and
But
and
is
you
this
just kind of
different
go for
than
it.
the WWF that the kids see on TV that fascinates them, that they do the holds and the jumps and the throws and people are getting thrown out of the ring and the girls come on stage? It's so, it seems to be so sensationalized, and it's changed. So yours seems to be very much of a sport, and we can see that because you've achieved this greatness. But what is the difference? So how...
Well, actually, it's a feeder for the WWE. I would hope that that's my goal, is to get to the WWE. I've just been in contact with them the last few months, and it took me 7 years to get in contact with them. So, you know, you pretty much just pay your dues and keep working up, and you know, and try to, and hopefully one day you'll.
Do they have scouts, the way other
absolutely.
sports do? So they send someone out to see, because it's not just about your ability, unless I'm wrong here, and I have been quite often. So yeah, beat you to that. But it's not just your ability to be a good wrestler. It's the whole showmanship, isn't it? It's the persona you take on,
Yeah,
too, isn't it?
yeah,
Did you
absolutely.
develop that yourself? I mean, did you come up with the name and the attitude, and are you going to be the bad guy, the good guy, or you
Oh, and
know?
is there a
Yeah.
costume? I want to know if there's a costume or a uniform or whatever.
Yeah,
you
I do wear. When I first started out, I got the name from. I was doing a tag team called the Texas Hellraisers, and that's the name. Pretty much came from there. And I started off as tag team wrestling for the first 3 years, and been wrestling as a single wrestler for the last like 4 years, and I've had way more success doing that. So
Wow.
yeah.
So what do we wear is the question.
Yeah,
I'm
what is
the
the
fashion person. I need to know what you wear.
Well,
What do you have on? What's your garb?
I think you have a photo. I'm not sure.
We may have a photo we can bring up there. While we're hunting for that, though, give me a sense of, aren't there certain ways that you can help prevent injuring yourself when you're falling and things
Well,
like
yeah,
that?
you know, I trained for a year before I had my first match. You know, you do have to learn basic holds, basic, falling techniques, or you know.
Put me in a basic hold. Could you do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe
It
he
would
wants
bring
to put me
great
in a
joy.
perfect hold.
It would bring
Can
great
I-
joy.
I'll-
No.
I'll let you hold that too.
The perfect hold you're talking about is different, young lady. Okay, so give me an example of how I might come at you and how you would react.
Okay. Let's see. On the,
And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to hit him very hard. In
Don't knock any teeth out.
fact,
Don't knock
every
any
guest
teeth out.
today gets a. Give me a sense of how I might.
Okay. A basic hold would be.
So you get around like that, yeah.
I could grab a hammerlock like that.
I'm very
very-
flexible.
you are
So
very
don't be
flexible.
afraid of hurting me. Don't be afraid of hurting
There's
me. I
there's
have a
another move.
comprehensive health plan.
There's another move.
Yep.
It's called it's a Cobra Clutch.
Don't try
The
this at
Cobra
home.
Clutch, and you would pull on that.
Yep, that's very light.
It almost seems chiropractic in nature,
Absolutely.
and yet the outcome is somewhat different.
you know, there's a million of them. You know,
And are these moves standard throughout the industry? Like if you said to someone south of the border, I got him in a Cobra, like, or do you come up with your own like secret moves?
no,
or
absolutely.
things like
There's there's an international code of wrestling moves that.
Because I have secret moves I use on dates.
I heard you crack the whole time he was moving.
Did you hear me crack it? Well, I'm into the gym.
Yeah.
I
I heard
gotta-
that.
You
You're
wait,
pretty
I'll be in
flexible.
shape.
I didn't want to put too much pressure on. And,
I'd love to know your workout schedule.
Yeah, actually.
How much you work out and what your
I
fitness
w-
regime is.
well, I work out at the minimum 4 times a week. I do about 45-minute cardio with weight training, but most of the time, you know, I am on the road a lot with the wrestling, and if I don't have the time to work out, I just try to eat as clean as I can with white chicken, a lot of chicken.
When was your last Big Mac?
My last
Can I
Big
say that word? Junk food
Yeah.
probably isn't in your food plan.
No, actually, I have 1 day a week.
So you have a cheat day. Yeah, we can learn from this.
Sunday, October 23rd, Jay's Place at 7 Erie Avenue at 2 p.m. The title bout will be between.
There'll be the GLCW Canadian Championship,
Yep.
and that's between Ruffy Silverstein, who's trained with Stu Hart. I think everybody in Canada knows the Hart family of wrestling.
Absolutely.
And he was the last person to train with Stu Hart before he passed away. And he's taking on NWA TNA's Sin. And that's a big promotion that's coming out of the States.
Okay.
And the Ontario title, myself versus Impact Eddie Osborne.
What have you heard about Eddie Osborne?
He's a submission wrestler. He works a lot of submission holds, joint holds.
Oh, okay. I thought you mean he gives up easy. No, yours.
I wish, I hope.
Yours. Mom, pick me up. Done here. It didn't work. There you go. It is. We've got the details on the screen there for you, too. You've got the website. And I want to mention there's the nice fashionable belt, especially for the food bank, Brantford Food Bank. You're asking people to bring.
Yes, absolutely. The bins from the food bank will be there. And for the Great Lakes Championship Wrestling, anybody that brings in a non-perishable food item, we're going to give them a ticket. And that's going to be put into a draw for like a surprise package of probably like a DVD.
Great.
And one lucky lady gets put in that hold.
Wow.
There you go.
No submission.
No submission
My
holds.
We're going to put that over your shoulder like
We're
you
about-
just did when you came in. That's good for you.
That's a nice belt.
This is it's fashionably okay or
Works.
That's
works.
wonderful.
Okay, perfect.